Alright, you guys wanted the Flash, now you want the Green Lantern. To which I say again, which one? But I'm going to assume you mean Hal Jordan, and we'll start there. I'm Sasha Wood, and these are the top 10 Green Lantern facts, Hal Jordan edition. Number 10. Hal Jordan was one of the first superheroes to have extensive interactions with his family members. While they were not a wife or children, they did include two brothers, Jack and Jim. Pray for them, because we all know it's not safe to be related to, friends with, or even make eye contact with a superhero. Number 9. Hal Jordan may be the clumsiest superhero. Since Rebirth, he's definitely gotten a new dose of cool, but honestly, he's a massive klutz who must have severe head trauma. He's been knocked out by tree branches, signs, awards, his own shower, the floor. This is honestly pretty silly, but I kind of miss it. I like it when superheroes have weaknesses. He can still be a good hero, but klutzy, it makes him more relatable. Speaking of weaknesses brings us to number 8. Hal Jordan was the Spectre. The Spectre being DC's spirit of vengeance, an avenging undead spirit conducting his work through a human avatar, or a spirit avatar rather. After Hal's death, this was his first revival when he became the spirit of redemption, seeking to atone for his murderous actions, which created a new dynamic as Jordan tried to make the Spectre's mission more justice-based and less revenge-based. However, the Spectre's comic was cancelled and Hal had to go back to being the spirit of vengeance until 2004 and his rebirth. Let's go even further back for number 7. Hal Jordan, the second Green Lantern, received the Silver Age's treatment in Showcase number 22 in 1959 after the success of the relaunch of The Flash with Barry Allen. This occurred while DC was reintroducing superheroes after their decline in popularity during the wartime years. This new Green Lantern was designed to have more of a sci-fi slant rather than the original mystic origin, and a more jocular cavalier personality. His personality was often in flux, however, which brings us to number 6. During the 90s, in the attempt to revive Hal Jordan's popularity, he got a snazzy new dark backstory. Much of this was detailed in the series Emerald Dawn and Emerald Dawn 2. One of the changes was Hal Jordan was now struggling with alcoholism, at least briefly. This actually leads to the infamous panel where Hal knocks himself out by flying into a yellow sign. Hal went through a lot in the 90s. It was not a good time for him. He also had Reed Richards hair. Which leads us to number 5. Before Hal Jordan's backstory was retconned in Green Lantern Rebirth in 2004, Hal Jordan had struggled for years with a roller coaster of popularity, which would often swing towards being on the decline. During one of the attempts in the late 80s and early 90s to revitalize his character, Hal Jordan went insane and killed all of the Guardians except for Ganthet and many of the members of the Green Lantern Corps. This included snapping Sinestro's neck, cause this is the go-to kill method of all superheroes apparently. He then became the supervillain known as Parallax. This was later retconned to him being possessed. Speaking of retcons, we have number 4. Hal Jordan is known as the man without fear, like the Daredevil, but that's a discussion for another time. However, over the years writers have vacillated as to what that actually means. Does he suppress it? Was it never there? Well, one comic, Action Comic number 614 to be exact, decided to introduce the idea that the ring itself was suppressing Hal Jordan's ability to feel fear, to maximize his abilities. Horrified, Hal demands the ring give him back his sense of fear, only to find that he can barely fly with it in place. This obviously did not last long, and Hal is back to just being a man with very little natural fear / sense of self-preservation. Number 3. Hal Jordan and Batman don't like each other. This has been ongoing since the 80s at least. Hal's more cavalier attitude grates against the stoic Dark Knight, and Bruce had little sympathy for Hal's struggle after Coast City was destroyed, and especially after Hal went rogue, going so far as to quasi-badmouth him at his funeral. In fact, one of Hal Jordan's first actions during Rebirth was to punch Batman in the face. They got better for a bit, then the New 52 happened. In the past, Hal has gone to Batman numerous times for help and has received a lukewarm reception, such as the time he decided he was going to prove he didn't need his ring and he could do it without it. Spoilers, he couldn't. Over time, this dynamic has been played with more and more. We'll see how the two interact as Rebirth carries on.
Wait, you're not just some guy in a bat costume, are you?
A piece of comic book history at number 2. Hal Jordan was a key part of the Green Lantern / Green Arrow crossover at the cusp of the Bronze Age of comics. This was a comic designed to tackle modern day social issues such as racism, drug addiction, sexism, etc. This series set Hal up as the establishment since he was a cop / crypto-fascist, which seems harsh, but it created an interesting contrast for the comics at least. The series did alright, however it was cancelled after 13 issues, and the climactic story arc had to be finished in the Flash comics. Some of it has aged well, other parts not so much. And while everybody remembers the speedy drug addict storyline, they also remember Green Arrow reacting to it by beating him, cause nothing cures drug addiction like violence and judgment. Still, it's worth a read if for nothing else than the time capsule value. And number 1, if you thought we were done with Tony Stark comparisons, you thought wrong. Because there was actually a comic called Iron Lantern that fused the two characters together in 1997, published by Amalgam Comics. This comic followed the tale of Harold Stark, founder of Stark Aircraft, who crashed near an alien spacecraft and got a chunk of metal lodged in his chest. Harold had to make a suit powered by a mysterious alien battery at the crash site to keep himself alive. Everything about this was great. His girlfriend being dominatrix Madame Sapphire, the fact that his villain was Mandarinestro, so good. So those were the top 10 Green Lantern facts, Hal Jordan edition. How many did you know? Do you need more? We didn't even get to talk about women in refrigerators. Keep all of those great, amazing requests coming and we'll keep replying to them here on Top 10 Nerd. I'm Sasha Wood. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and turn on those notifications so that you never miss a nerdy list. See you next time.